Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, children. We welcome you to our online learning initiative Ekalaiva. Today we are going to start our new lesson in history, Unit 3, World War II. Our topic is World War II. Today we are going to discuss various informations about World War II. If you take the first half of the 20th century, the world witnessed two wars which devastated the total world. So, World War One was fought from 1914 to 1918, and World War Two began in 1939 and ended in 1945. Both wars were fought on several fronts across Europe, Asia, and Africa. So, because of the extended areas of the conflict and the very high death toll of civilians, it is called as world wars. In addition to the terrible human cost, the financial cost of the World War II was huge. If you take the end of the World War II, it signaled a change in world order and political changes among the major powers. Now, the learning objectives of this lesson. We are going to discuss about the political and economic development after World War One, which ultimately led to World War Two. We are going to discuss about the course of the war, main events took place during that period, and some turning points in the war. We are going to discuss about the effects of World War Two. We are going to gain knowledge about Holocaust, through which many Jewish people were killed. We are going to discuss about the international organizations. First, under the causes, we are going to discuss about different topics. Germany and Treaty of Versailles, failure of League of Nations, post-war crisis and Germany, rise of Adolf Hitler, Allies and non-intervention, Munich Pact. These are all the various topics we are going to discuss under this. Now, first one, Germany and Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles ending World War I was signed in June 1919. So, among the many clauses of the treaty, three in particular, that was Germany was forced to give up territories to the west, north and east of the German border, and Germany had to disarm, and it was allowed to have only very restricted armed force. And as reparations for the war, Germany was expected to pay for both the military and civilian cost of the war to allied nations. So already in our previous chapter we discussed about the various um, provisions under the Treaty of Versailles, isn't it? So if you take Germany, this three affected Germany a lot, and the war reparations was heavy. Germany can't accept that burden, so at last it accepted to pay only few $1 billion, but Germany was compelled to pay um, to various countries, allied nations. So it has to pay in billion dollars. The amount was calculated at $10 billion by Britain and $15 billion by US. And France and Belgium were able to insist on war reparations of $33 billions, which Germany protested, saying it was beyond its capacity to pay. The Germans offered to pay only $25 billion for a war reparations. Next one, failure of League of Nations. In our previous chapter also we discussed certain reasons for the failure of League of Nations. So the treaty, it also set up the League of Nations, we discussed in lesson 1, on the initiative of President Woodrow Wilson of US. So the League was expected to act as a mediator between the countries and take action against countries which indulge in military aggression. The United States was not interested in playing a global role in European politics. So United States did not become a member of the League. So therefore the United States stayed neutral. The other allied nations were also determined to maintain a non-interventionist attitude. They don't want to interfere in the world politics. As a result, the League remained as an ineffective international body. So these were the reasons of a failure of League of Nations. Next one, post-war crisis and Germany. Post-war crisis and Germany. As mentioned above, the three clauses of the Treaty of Versailles, especially the imposition of penal reparations, it caused great dissatisfaction among the people of Germany. The interwar period was a time of severe economic downturn in Western Europe as well as in US. So during that time, Britain was facing massive unemployment and its economy was nearly crippled by the general strike of 1926. If we take United States, it faced with the Great Depression after 1929. The problems which many countries faced in the World War I continued for decades led to the rise of extreme dictatorship, especially in Italy by Mussolini and in Germany by Hitler and in Spain by Franco. So during the time, Germany experienced both high unemployment and severe inflation after the war. Inflation means high rise in price, and its currency also became worthless. For example, if you take ordinary people, if they want to buy bread, they have to carry the money in wheelbarrows. So their currency became worthless. They have to carry a lot of money to buy bread, loaves of bread. Next one, the rise of Adolf Hitler. We discussed about Adolf Hitler in brief, isn't it? In our previous lesson, we discussed about him a lot. In our previous lesson, we discussed about Adolf Hitler. isn't it? How he started his own party and all we discussed. Actually, Adolf Hitler, he was able to exploit the general discontent among the Germans. In the previous paragraph, I told you the people of German were not satisfied. So Hitler utilized that and he started to cover the people of Germany through his speech. He is a very good speaker, so he can admire the people, and he was able to sway the people by his speeches and promising a return to the glorious military past for Germany. So he founded the National Socialist Party, and that party was known as the Nazis. Hitler built his support with the notion of a racial superiority of the Germans as pure Aryan race and also deep-seated hatred of the Jews. In the previous lesson also we discussed how he treated the Jewish people, isn't it? How he exploited them. Hitler came to power in 1933 and ruled Germany till 1945. The recruitment for the armed forces and the manufacture of armaments and machinery for the army, navy, with the large amounts of government spending, resulted in economic revival and solved the problem of unemployment in Germany. So we discussed that Germans has to carry money in wheelbarrows to buy bread, isn't it? So, but these things helped them to get employment. And on the other hand, Italy's break with Britain and France in the wake of Mussolini's invasion of Ethiopia resulted in better relationship between Italy and Germany. In 1938, Hitler invaded Austria and Czechoslovakia. And Hitler's claim was that the German speaking people should be united into one nation. So that was his main aim. Next one, Munich Pact. In 1938, Prime Minister Chamberlain concluded the Munich Pact with Germany. Actually, this was considered as a shameful acceptance of Germany's invasion of Czechoslovakia to annex a German speaking area that is called Sudetenland. And in 1939, the Soviet Union independently concluded a non aggression pact with Germany. So, the continued passivity of the Allies and the reluctance to start building up their armies were also contributory causes of the World War II. So, though Hitler he gave an assurance in the Munich Pact that Germany would not attack any other country, but he didn't keep up his promise. In 1939, he invaded Czechoslovakia and then Poland. Poland was attacked next, and this was the final act which resulted in declaration of war by Britain and France against Germany. So in Britain, Prime Minister Chamberlain resigned in 1940 and Winston Churchill, who had always warned about Hitler and his military ambitions, became Prime Minister. Okay, children, in this we discussed about some causes for the war and we discussed about various things. Tomorrow we will continue with course of the war. Thank you, children.